Tabletop time.
I'm Dragon.
I'm Dave.
I'm Jen.
I'm Murray.
And I'm Jazza, and we are playing in the 40k universe!
Hey.
Finally, we're going to have some actual Space Marines in our 40k roleplay.
And I'm playing!
Yes! There has been an air of anticipation throughout the studio for the last few weeks. We're very, very excited. Now, this is going to be a little bit different to some people because some people coming in for the first time won't have seen some of our roleplay, but we are using a system that is in development. It's currently just sort of between prototype and alpha. Gateway Roleplay, which we're developing to be a really fun and streamlined combat and roleplay happy system.
That's super homebrewable and really easy to, make work for 40k in like an evening.
And the next thing we're all playing is Pokemon. We're like literally trying to let's make this work really well in different universes.
Push it in every direction.
We're sort of testing something different with each different thing we do, and this one is high level characters.
And guns. Guns is new for this.
Yeah.
Because we do want Gateway on launch to be able to be compatible with settings, civilian, sci-fi, futuristic fantasy. So guns is important.
Check it out, link in the description, and gatewayroleplay.com.
Guns have been hotly anticipated.
And if you can't catch us on YouTube, you can listen to us as a podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a couple of others. So yeah, tune in if that's your preferred method of listening.
But without further ado... Wait, no.
No. Before we get into it, I'd like to mention our sponsor for the evening, Fire and Ash. We have a gift!
It's an unboxing as well as a sponsor point.
Oh my goodness, look how nicely it's wrapped.
And I'm going to rip it open.
Yes, let's have a look inside.
Rip and tear until it is done.
This is, of course.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's
So nice. So we have been sponsored by these guys in the previous episode. You guys loved it. Their Kickstarter was a success, and they're at it again.
That is so cool.
With a book,
brutal.
a dice tower for your roleplay goodness.
Very
look at
nice.
That. And look at that gorgeous art of the dragon. Now, there are different options, I believe, of the art and stuff that you can get done, and different inserts.
Oh, that's so cool.
Look at this little storage pouch. Oh my god.
It's got that flex.
Wow.
Oh, you can put your best dice in there.
That's so good.
That is very lovely.
Oh my god, that's so satisfying.
Yeah.
That's so
Snappy,
good.
snappy.
This is fantastic.
Now this has gorgeous art, and that's by the mural artist Brutal Bohemian, which is also a very cool name.
I need to get in contact with them.
Brutal Bohemian.
Gorgeous and lovingly handcrafted by some wonderful hobbyists who are passionate about making great, fun tools for your hobby. Go check it out. Looks great on your own bookshelf, and it's available only through their Kickstarter.
So there are 4 modules. The dice tower takes up 2/3 of the space, leaving room for that gorgeous dice vault as seen here, or a deck box or divided tray. So you get to pick and choose with the Kickstarter. Ooh, look at that snug fit. The Kickstarter launches on Wednesday, October 24th, which means it's out.
Right now.
Right now.
Link
Right now.
in the
Let's go.
description.
But only for a month, so you got to get in fast.
They've just launched. They did run out last time, so you do have to actually act fast.
And act even faster and get 10% off in the first 48 hours.
Yes.
Early bird special, y'all. So go check it out. Thank you, Fire and Ash, for sponsoring us again and for sending us this awesome, even more impressive Dice Tower book. This is so cool. Go check it out, everyone. Links in the
Murray,
description.
it's got a dragon on it.
Yeah, it is
Keep
so
showing it
cool.
off. I just want to grab it.
Yeah, go on, Murray.
Go.
Oh, yes. And that's a perfect way to end it, right?
Oh, it feel good.
All right.
Before we jump into the roleplay, I would like a quick disclaimer that this is a work of non-canon fiction as a game.
Fan fiction, even.
Fan fiction,
Please
very
don't source
possibly.
Games Workshop. I think
Yeah,
that's...
please don't source Games Workshop.
We're not making money off the 40k stuff. Well, I guess 4 cents off the stream, probably, but that would
That's right, just a
be beside the
Look, if
point.
Games Workshop want to take
demonetized
that off of us...
It's
Yeah,
demonetized.
that's true.
We've already demonetized it.
Okay.
Thanks,
all right.
Jessa. You always
No
got
worries.
it back.
Take them off of the team.
Yep, cool. Jazz is paying that. Awesome.
All right.
Okay.
Let's jump into it.
Jumping into it. The Forge world of Medath. You land strutting through the streets.
So who are we...
So we are starting with Ramos. You stride with purpose hands clasped behind your back, through a factory, heading towards a section that seems a bit more sectioned off than the rest of this large, busy factory setting. Ahead, you see the tech priest that you have come to meet and to oversee his newfound project. As you approach, he turns, these sort of gangly limbs from his back. It turns to look at you and is like,
Lord Rasmus, it is an honor for us to have you here.
I imagine it would be.
sort of takes a moment, like bows his head and then turns back. He's like,
I think you will be surprised, if not impressed, with our new experiments.
Show me then. Magos.
he turns to a chamber that's sort of iron, shutter sealed off, reaches over to a console, clicks a few buttons, and the shutters fly open to glass panels. Inside there is a circular chamber with a number of what look like droids, like robots, sort of standing in the center, all like dormant, heads bowed. He taps a few keys and he watches this blue energy pulses through some various cables, and one by one they sort of start to move. You notice that these droids seem to move unlike anything else. Any sort of mech that you've seen.
Magos, what cogitator do you use here?
You see this sort of brief moment of like twitch as he turns, something that you can't quite place, especially being such a heavily augmented creature, but it's something that you can almost see as sort of anticipation or pride. So he says,
We've utilized certain scavenged pieces from various of your brother's campaigns.
Scavenged from... He raises an eyebrow quizzically.
he sort of, twitches a bit. He's like,
We did not ask where they came from. But we found...
In a space marine like immediate, superhuman reflexes, he sub-vocalizes onto his Vox network, like internal helmet Vox network. Second company, attention, it is Ramos. The helmet, because the helmets filter out the internal voice, and then obviously Magos would continue talking.
He starts to talk, but as he continues, there is suddenly just this, sort of repeated beeping siren from the console behind him as he whips around, these arms leeching forward, starting to tick at different buttons. He's like, "What? No,
Brothers, at attention!"
This was stable. This was...
There's the high-pitched whine of a plasma pistol whirring to charge as he starts to get ready for it. He's like, "What's happening?"
As you draw your pistol, the reactor coil whirring to life, there is suddenly this crack of glass as you look up, and one of these droids, its eyes blazing with this sickly blue energy, is just like slamming against the glass splintering and spidering.
This is abomination, Silica Animus.
No.
What have you done here, Magos?
Stable!
He starts to tick at another sort of thing as this creep, this sort of rogue bot just smashes through the window, lunging for you.
Immediately, I'd like to give it a good old shoot if I can.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to roll combat
Way.
as a player.
Combat!
First episode? What is
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dice in the first 10 minutes.
I'm going to use my gorgeous I'm just going to use an aimed shot. which is a lovely pistol weapon ability.
My goodness.
Oh my god.
That's so many dice.
As I
Good
throw
shot.
6 successes.
Okay, so he got 3.
Okay.
So I think you got him.
So I do weapon damage.
Yeah.
Yes, which is 4 with 2 piercing and 1 burn. So he sort of is starting to melt and cinder as the plasma is latching onto his body.
Okay, you aiming your pistol by instinct alone, you fire off a shot and it just eviscerates its head. It sort of keels over backwards and lands on the floor. At your feet, you see within the chest cavity, it's like barely covered with these various plates. You see various pieces of what look like crystal and circuitry that doesn't appear to be of any sort of imperial make that you've recognized. There's a weird sort of green energy pulsing around in its chest.
Brothers, fall back to the Hatep.
As you start to pull back, the Magos is still flickering away. He goes, no. And he turns and with one of his these sort of like mechanical arms shoves you backwards. Mm-hmm. You stumble backwards as he stumbles forward. He goes, no, the foundry must be protected. Slams his hand down on a panel as you watch this blue energy pulse from behind you. As you watch your limbs become heavy, you sort of freeze in place. And you watch as the Magos turns and looks back, and they're just chased off by a bunch of these robots that are raging.
There's as he's slowing down, the pistol slowly lining with the Magos, but then stops obviously before anything had happened. But it's that intent, the snarl of intent as it's you bastard. And
that is where we leave you. And enter the sanctified... Oh, well, no. We find ourselves on another planet with 2 space marines who are in a bit of a pickle.
That is gonna Frostclaw me. Maybe we. You didn't do it.
No, because I like the idea of him describing himself later.
Yeah,
okay.
You go with that. That's fine.
Okay.
You can introduce yourselves. Yeah.
Okay.
You're the main characters. I'm just a passenger.
So we're starting up. We're in the tail end of battle, but I am a former space wolf who has been recruited and inferred into the Space Bear Company, which is newly founded after the Indomitus Crusade. Mm-hmm. So Gunnar Frostclaw has got a little bit of an identity crisis, but he's a strong loyalist, vehemently serves the Emperor, and he will do what his command requires.
So may I step in for context, because we've worked on a lot of Space Bears lore together.
Yes.
So for those who are big fans of 40k, basically as a successor chapter to the Space Wolves, when they were founded, the Space Wolves are quite untrusting of their supposed Primaris successors. Mm-hmm. So he would be a Longfang who was then assigned to basically train, induct them, make sure they were truly of appropriate stock to call themselves successors.
But there is a sort of discrepancy between the ethos of the chapters, because obviously the wolves are known for their ferocity and impatience, but the bears are patient. That is their hallmark.
Does that make you, are you a Primaris Marine or an old Firstborn?
I'd probably say an old Firstborn.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, Murray.
Meanwhile, I am Cineric, one of the angels of death, one of the angels of redemption of the second founding of the Dark Angels chapter. And I am in halfway through my 3rd year of basically that sort of mercenary work under the command of a rogue trader, as the political machinations and under the table dealings happen. And I have grown accustomed to dealing with the various people in the company in which I find myself, including the Space Wolf, for which there is very historical shall we say, ribbing between the two individuals. It is odd that Angel of Redemption is here, as they usually tend to go and seek their own battles and duels and aren't necessarily trustworthy. But it has probably been determined by now that Cineric is good to his word.
Shall we?
Sure. So the two of you find yourselves, smoke assaults your senses, filling the air with the smell of scorched blood and spent ammunition. Around you, you stand in a courtyard of what was once very possibly a very proud imperial citadel, which now bears all the taint of chaos. Standing over a case, like a chest, what you've been sent to retrieve for your rogue trader, you watch as these four screaming, deranged cultists come charging for you.
Not if I can help it!
Who gave him that?
Are we launching into combat?
I think we are!
Let's go.
It's not 40k if we're not just blasting this shit immediately.
And then, because Dave put the models on the board, a fifth cultist stands up from behind a table that you didn't see
Cheeky
before.
bastard.
I missed that one. That's
All right, let's do it.
One just comes out. It was obviously in the bathroom, just like.
So-
sorry.
Minions declare what they're doing first. What are the cultists doing?
Well, the
Movement.
cultists. Yeah.
So round of movement first.
Yeah, so we do movement.
So you go movement, then we go movement.
Cool. Well, this one's going to duck around. It's going to go that way. And someone move that one forward as well, because those two are going to charge that way. These two are going to charge to here. That one's going to move forward one.
So the cultists are marching towards us. I will is out of character. It's really easy to like talk and like focus on the models and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have a podcast.
Of course.
will-
So the cultists come charging forward. Two at the back sort of like hold out these what are clearly what were once sort of imperial bolters, but are now like Avalon since in repair. Start to fire off or ready them. The other ones charge forward into melee.
All right. I cannot move because I am flanked or I have, been approached by two of them, so I can't
already
let them
adjacent, yeah.
out of my focus. What are you doing, Cineric?
I'm happy to stand exactly where I am for the time being.
Don't worry, brother. I have this handled fine. Well, we'll see what you can do, old man.
That's the voice.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
change
great.
it.
That's great.
I've been
Yeah.
talking about the
I
voice
love that.
all day. That's the
We've
one.
been for like 3 weeks. We're like, what's the voice, Murray? The first time you speak, like,
That's the one.
So Gunnar standing strong in melee with Cineric holding up behind with his bolter. Let's get into some combat. So it's going to be, let's say, 2 melee attacks. No. Yes, 2 melee attacks for Gunnar. And a ranged attack for Cineric. And 2 ranged... Oh, Gunnar's getting a lot.
That's fine.
2 ranged attacks for...
I can take it.
Yeah.
So we got two cultists in melee into Gunnar, Frostclaw, 2 behind with guns, firing their terrible slug guns into Gunnar as well, and then the one that's sort of wide off the flank, is he peppering
Yeah.
Cineric?
So the
Okay.
one fire off.
And fire from cover will be the ranged attack.
Yeah. And the other one's the melee.
Yeah, that should. Yeah, because this one can only hurt adjacent targets.
Yeah.
So cool.
I'm going to bring that up here just because my eyesight is terrible.
Gunnar is going to be recklessly attacking the enemy in front of him.
What are you gonna do?
Meanwhile, I will be using rapid target acquisition to take down my foes in quick succession.
Hell yeah. How much ammo are you spending? This is the first gun ability.
Yeah.
This is a 3-spirit gun ability.
3 spirit gun ability.
I'm going to use 4 ammo.
Plus the 1 from firing it. So I explained everything except the one critical rule about ammo.
Every time you fire, it costs
Every time you use a card that specifically says it uses a gun skill. So the reason that's a distinction, right, is because if I look at okay, dual wield is a pistol ability, and it says roll any weapon skill. If you select a gun in that part, you spend an ammo. So basically, anytime you fight with a weapon, it's pretty logical. With a gun, you spend an ammo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So you'd spend 5 to shoot 3 targets. Okay, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Alicia,
Being
that's
overprotective.
exactly who. There was a name I couldn't think of before that my voice reminded me of, and she just nailed it in one.
What was it?
Jason Statham.
This is going to make me really happy. Which ones are you shooting?
Let me see these 2 off to basically forwards and my right, and then 1 at the back.
Leaving this one for Gunnar, the one that.
Okay.
So he's taking 1 out. He's trying to peel 1 off Gunnar and then 2 of the shooters.
Don't look, I'm generous.
My kill. Don't you worry, I'll let you play with your food.
All right, we rolling?
Yep, yep.
Let's roll, baby. With my reckless attack, I have less 1 dice. I will point out I am using weird custom D8s because this is all very alpha and prototypey, and we're experimenting with D8 because I have some crit abilities. So this is a custom thing. So
Okay.
it'll become apparent. But
Oh, what color is the success? Black or white?
Black. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Did
5,
you change
6.
that on the spot, or is it? So 7 successes.
Yeah.
7 successes. Which one?
How many dice are you rolling with?
5.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And I don't have any crit stuff, so it's just literally going to be like.
Well, I don't have crits
but we
unless
have-
I use crit abilities, which I'm
okay.
not at the moment.
Because that would be. Yeah, there's no.
So with 7 successes, not one of the cultists fighting you can succeed. So you don't even need to roll.
Yeah, no.
Yay!
So all of them, like the ones at the back, are like blasting off. Just nothing, and then you just like. So which one were you attacking?
This one.
How much damage
Sorry,
did you do?
the one immediately in front of me. I tear into it with 4 damage.
What have you got in your other hand?
A pistol.
Pistol, cool. You like as these 2 cultists come charging at you, the first one, stabs at you with this like sort of rusted blade. You bring your claws down from like almost like backhanding his weapon downwards into the ground before just driving it straight into the gut of this second warrior, lifting him up off the ground. The others fire off, and you feel like very sort of like sort of scraping off your armor.
The bugs on this planet are incessant.
You want to roll?
Yeah, I want to see this roll because we got one dude who might be able to do something.
One dude who might be able to actually get something in here.
4 successes.
He
5.
You rolled 5.
Okay.
Murray.
So, Murray, as Scenario fires bolt rounds into 3 targets, how much damage does a bolter do?
6.
And how much health does a cultist have?
That would be 5. No armor.
I'll leave it there. You guys can. I just thought I'd mention that.
As you
So can you give us a Space Marine scream for a second? Thank you.
which one is it? Yeah, cool.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah, he just killed 3 with 1 ability.
No, that's
As this
just greedy. Sorry, oh man, you're taking so long.
you aim down your sights as these cultists charge forward. One on the right, like you see the one on your right, like levels a blaster at you, and you just quickly like fire off this shot that just pops in like a balloon. You then see Gunnar like smack this other one to the side, like slapping him to the way like he's a child, and you just quickly divert, fire off, and then hit the one behind him, as they all just like shatter like broken toys.
I didn't kill the one in front of me.
What?
Technically, you didn't. You
no,
only got
you-
4 damage.
No, you did.
Did you? How much damage did you do?
4.
Okay, yeah, no, you
Still alive on your claw.
you like
noises coming out of
slash
that person.
across the front of him. I'm sorry, I figured you'd definitely do. You slash across the front of him. He's now like the entire front of him is like just barely hanging on, but
It's
he's
just
like
a flesh wound.
The best thing is it does bleed 1 and he has 1 health left. So he's mortally wounded. If
Yeah.
he moves, he dies. But
he's like
just-
trying to like pull things back together and like not
Yeah.
doing it.
Love it.
This one over here is like you've never seen
Do you know
fear in a
what?
cultist
I'm
size.
using a grit. Finish it off.
Okay.
I just as I yank him off of my claw and spit
Yeah.
on the scum.
As he's
treacherous
like,
scum.
so as you drive your claws into his gut, and he's like trying to sort of shove back so he can get some sort of purchase, you just and then chuck him aside.
Yeah, I do.
When you're quite done, Gunner, we've got places to be. Very well. I shan't waste any more time then.
Can we just roll off to see who kills the last guy?
No, let's do this the right way.
Combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
That's-
another round.
Yeah,
You
cool.
okay?
Well,
is he going
In
anywhere?
the movement step, he could run.
There's,
cool.
there's one cultist standing just behind a pile of bodies that were just put.
Well, we put down that they're fearless, so
Yeah.
he's going to clamber over
Yeah.
his eviscerated comrade to try and get a swing at the quite obviously out of his depth space bear. I take it no one else is going to move.
I don't need to.
Yeah, I'll move up.
I have guns.
I'll move up to the side of Gunner.
Cool. So stepping up next to your battle brother, facing down this single cultist who seems to be in a very like Mad Max, war boy sort of style, is just frothing at the mouth, charging forward. What would you? He's going to attempt to attack, just melee with Gunner again.
I am going to use my finisher move just because I feel like a bit of theatric flair. I think because my comrade has just flexed on me that I'm like, okay, you use a 3 spirit move, I'm going to use a 3 spirit
I was
move.
about to say definitely because you're not feeling inadequate.
All right.
What are you going to do?
I am going to use move and fire by simply walking off in a different direction, and I'm just going to see if we can just slyly
Back to the
pop on off
dropship.
to the
Yeah, not looking just over. Yeah.
just
With your last round.
take his kill. Yeah,
Now,
with the
I
last
have-
round.
I've my normal amount of dice. Oh, has he declared he's doing normal
Yeah,
attacks?
he's just gonna what was it? Reckless assault against Gunner.
What have you got on it?
Well, this is crits to hit and critical damage.
Okay.
Okay.
And does +2 damage.
+2 damage.
Okay.
So this is a bit OTT.
Yeah.
Okay, so crits to hit. This is our first crits roll.
Yep.
So we'll just take a quick moment to explain it. This could be explained on D6s. Is 1 is a critical miss, which is a separate thing. 6 is a critical hit. So in these D8s, these marked black ones.
You got
there you go,
one.
I got 1. Is a critical hit. It just means that is otherwise a very freaking good roll. Any critical hit, I get to roll another dice. That doesn't give me anything extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits.
And you have critical damage as well, which means for every crit you get an extra damage. So you deal 6 damage with your claws.
Yay!
Do you wanna
Yes, because the great thing is that this is happening simultaneously.
We're sharing.
So Dragon is going to be the one who chooses which one of us wins.
Oh no, same time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
no,
like
it's-
this glorious pulp.
We'll find out, I guess.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. Wow.
That was
Well, they have 5 dice,
Yep.
and he rolled a 1.
He rolled a 1.
So as he comes charging forward, flailing his crude weaponry at you, Gunner, you lunge forward, claws at the ready, whereas while the Cineric just sort of walks off, just not even looking, just aiming the bolter off to the side. As your claws basically pierce his stomach, his head just pops.
yay.
And He's just and he's just limp on your claws.
My apologies. Looks like I got a bit on you there.
Just wipe it off.
Sometimes I wish they put up more of a fight. We should return. We have orders to...
That I can agree with you.
As you are finishing up, the voice pops over your vox, just like, Retrieval squad, report. Have you found the relic?
Indeed.
I'm assuming we've found a relic.
You found you have found a crate that appears to be.
We have acquired the targeted
Excellent.
relic.
Return to the sanctified creed immediately. We have new orders.
The Emperor protects.
Resistance was futile and flattened.
I have to tell myself not to answer the Emperor protects with, of course he does. It's a bit too sassy for me. So collecting the crate that you have retrieved, you make your way back to the drop ship to head back to the Sanctified Creed, where we find Mary Van Hoss. Would you like to introduce your character?
Sure. So Marie Van Hoss is part of a line of rogue traders. She has an older sister who has more cybernetics than her, and she's incredibly jealous of her older sister, who's also a rogue trader too. In their line, their dynasty, her sister has also got her own ship, so she's kind of tagging along and trying to prove herself so she can start her own crew and be her own rogue trader. But for now, she's tagging along with her sister.
How much older than you is she?
There's 6 minutes.
6 minutes older
We're
than
twin
you.
sisters.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
so-
gotta suck when the oldest inherits the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really wanted that just to come up naturally. Roleplay, just that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, passing through the corridors of the Sanctified Creed, the ship is kept fairly neat and tidy, and for the most part, your sister runs a tight ship. Many of the crew and sort of various guards on the ship give you a various sorts of salute. Some varying respect, and you're not entirely sure if this is due to your position on the ship or the fact that half the crew can't tell you and your sister apart. You've been called to your sister's chambers. It's saying she has something that she needs you to handle. You eventually make your way to a large set of fairly ornate double doors with sort of like a dark wooden paneling polished to a high luster with bronze fittings on the outside, a large sort of aquila creating the handles for the center of the door.
I push them open and go through. Actually, I knock first. That's polite. So,
Come in.
and I open the door and walk through.
So inside is a, fairly large, still, sort of professional, but obviously comfortable chamber. The furniture inside is a dark oak, kept fairly polished, but obviously has seen a fair amount of use. A large, fairly ornate rug holds the center of the room, running down to a desk at the far end. Behind which there are sort of these large Gothic windows that look out into the sort of nebula mottled expanse of space. Your sister sits at the desk, sort of tapping with a what is it?
Quill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a pen or something like
Yeah.
like.
Space pen.
There is a word for
So
it.
it's a quill. It's a quill that has been carved from a baby's finger, probably.
Yeah.
40k.
Yeah.
Find sort of tapping, and she sort of looks up at you at a glance. It's like, oh, excellent, it's you. Yes, I've got some business I need you to handle. I'm very busy, and he says he needs to speak to someone official, and that's not going to be me today.
Of course, I enjoy doing all of your petty work. How can I help?
Watch, you will mind your tone in my quarters. I am the captain of this ship.
Yes, how can I help?
You need to go and speak with Charon. He's got some news that's apparently very important and very exciting, and I'm sure whatever it is, it will probably destroy his quadrant of the ship again. So I need you to go and find out what's going on.
Well, I understand you could only trust me with this important task. I shall go and I'll report back soon.
Good.
For the Emperor.
you turn around and leave, and she's like, I'm older than you, remember?
Yes, you remind me every single day.
I love your portrait. I love it so much.
It's really great. So you make your way.
Yeah.
So you're aware that Charon is the resident tech priest of the Sanctified Creed. Making your way down, you make your way into sort of more of the maintenance bay area.
Keep going. Don't worry about me.
Making your way down to sort of more the maintenance bay area. Eventually making it to his workshop. The sliding doors are open, and you enter into a large, sort of industrial chamber. There's a number of workbenches with various arms, sort of working at, small pieces of machinery or fixing bits of equipment. You see at the far end of the room this sort of like gangly red cloaked figure, cloaks hanging to the floor. Various sort of like almost like tentacled arms, sort of spanning out from underneath his robes that sort of click at various, controls and keyboards. Generally sort of giving off the impression that he's working all of this at once.
As I walk through, knowing that this room's probably very echoey as well, so I kind of shout and say, "Oh, Charon, my favorite tech priest, how are we today?"
There is a sudden sort of like jar to his hands as they sort of stop, and he turns like all like in one piece, sort of turns around. You see this sort of like half, familiar, half covered face, sort of like respirator mask that's sort of molded to look like a skull on the bottom half of his face.
There's that wonderful smile I like to see every day.
You've never seen this look of like disdain from a tech priest's face, but it's just sort of generally is a fairly sort of tranquil sort of, or like emotionally nullified people. It just, this sort of, you are well aware that this sort of attitude grates on Charon like a cheese grater. So it's like, oh.
Does he have one? Just in his accoutrement.
If nothing else, Charon is a sucker for Parmesan. Like the only thing that he keeps. But he sort of turns, he's like, oh, good. I assume your sister sent you.
You would assume correct, yes.
Excellent, good. A power signature has been recognized on my scanners. It could be something of great interest. It seems to be leading to a world that I'm not sure was there before, but it's something that I feel it would be good for us to all to check. Prosperous for all of us. I need to speak with the captain. It's kind of a...
See, you need to make it sound a little bit more convincing than this. You come up with a lot of theories and you like to stop us a lot of the time from our actual mission, so I really need you to be 100% on this one.
Okay.
Yes.
Forge World make Relic. Forge World without Imperium can't make Relic. We go to Forge World. Forge World now have Imperium. Forge World make Relic.
Aha. See, Forge World. Now that sounds very interesting, doesn't it?
Oh, did I not mention that already?
I don't think so, unless it flooded through my mind. I'm not sure.
Apologies.
That's okay. Forge World. Yes, interesting. Well, perhaps I can sway her into landing or patrolling the perimeter. How about that?
Excellent.
Yes.
Good. We should go to the bridge. I need to talk with your sister.
Sounds wonderful.
He starts like moving. As he like walks away from the console, his arms stop clacking at these sort of keyboards, and he watches all of these arms just stop. He sort of walks to the sort of like almost like glides to the door, and then steps out and is like, yes, bridge, that way.
Yes, this way. Yes.
As you make your way back, in the hangar, the Space Marines return, stepping out of the ship, the dropship. You know, crate, I assume, under one arm. A voice comes over the communicator that just says, "Retrieval squad, return to the bridge for new briefing."
Well, that was fairly straightforward as orders go.
I say, sort of like dusting off the crate.
Yes, well, hopefully they've got something a bit bigger this time that was menial and somewhat degrading, if you ask me.
Nothing is degrading when it is in the name of the Emperor, brother. Where is your loyalty?
Oh, of course, he has all my loyalty. Don't even start that with me. Come on, let's go.
As you step out, like sort of dusting the crate off, you see, like, stepping out from behind you in this dropship, you see another Astartes, a familiar one. As he sort of reaches over and takes the crate off, you see this is Hakan. He is dressed in the sort of similar armor to the salamanders, sort of the green sort of armor. He's got this cloak of sort of what seems to be almost like a dark reptilian scales over his shoulder. He takes this, "I will take to forge.
Very well, brother.
Do not want to keep Captain waiting."
I'd say you missed all the fun, but there wasn't much there.
You've seen, so you've all known Hakan. He's been part of the ship for as long as you can remember. He's got this, like, you know, that nocturne sort of onyx black skin. This sort of pale, jagged scar runs down the side of one side of his face, and his eyes covered with this sort of, you know, nicely crafted but sort of crude metal plate. And he turns and says, "I am usually good with ship. Thank you."
A shame you couldn't have joined us. They went down quickly, but there's always something satisfying about the slaughter of heretics.
This coy smile curls the side of his face as he glances over. He says, "Senetic got most kills again, yes?"
If you'd been there, Gunner might not have gotten any.
Now, I believe it's not in the quantity of kills, but the quality of them.
Yes. I will remember. He turns and, like, wanders back, carrying this crate, wanders back to his forge.
If you end up killing one person and turn them into 17 pieces, I think that should count as more than one.
No, afraid not. That is absolute bollocks, and you know it.
Can't just make more enemies.
Growl sort of jokingly and go to grab a few things to polish and wipe up the claws, which are stained with heretic blood.
Fear not. Our enemies are numerous, if not stupid. Plenty of them will fall onto your blade, whether you will it or not.
I look for a chance to spread our wings a little bit with the next. The Emperor is mighty, of course, but it's nice to be stretched once in a while.
True that. All right, let's go to the bridge. One of the humans will have something to say to us.
So you make your way back through the ship. As you approach the doorways to the bridge, you see Mary and Charon, the tech priest, coming up the other way as they reach the doors.
What is the term for
Bridge, ship.
No, the rogue trader. What does one address them as? Like, not commander, but like a captain.
Well, you're a space marine, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
You could call the captain a captain because she's a captain of a ship.
Is
you
Maria a
wouldn't-
captain, or is she?
No,
like,
she's
okay.
the daughter of. You might say like
Sister of.
sister of. Sorry, yeah.
Sister of captain.
Look, it depends. It really depends on how respectful
Yeah.
you want to be, because they are often addressed as, like, you know, your lordship, your ladyship, your honor.
Lady.
Like,
I like that.
lady is fine. They are nobility, so that is perfectly reasonable.
Lady, we have fulfilled our orders. What are our next?
Oh, gentlemen, you've returned. I suggest that Sinek got the most kills again.
Why does everyone say that?
It's good to see you too, little Marie.
It's not about quantity, it's about quantity.
Little bear grumbles in the corner there.
You hear this sort of like low wheezing, sort of what you've come to know as Charon laughing, but it sort of just sounds like a.
I'm sure you've killed a bigger thing. I reckon Gunnar has taken down like a larger
Behemoth or
foe.
something.
And he's
Dave,
never
thanks.
let
Yeah.
anyone forget it.
But I also love the idea that in the same battle that you like ripped the
Still only
arms
counts as
of,
one.
of like a Tyranid hive guard. Yeah, exactly. Still only counts. Scenario kills like 5 gaunts. Counts as one.
What are our next orders, lady?
Well, Charon, he has something very interesting to show all of us.
We have potential energy readings from a what could be an abandoned forge
Yes,
world.
the Forge World.
Oh, do tell.
I feel we should talk with the captain about this, considering that this is all conjecture until we are given the go-ahead.
I presume she's on her way.
It turns and looks down the through the doorways into the bridge, and you see, in true Augustine fashion. So Augustine, your sister, she is standing. You know, obviously having been informed that you're coming, standing at the head of the bridge in a very sort of a commanding pose, looking out into the expanse of space and the planet just sort of circling below you.
Give her a little nod as she enters the
She's
bridge.
looking the other way.
Captain, a forge world, indeed.
Augustine turns, sort of fixes you with this sort of like being elevated, sort of downward glare that you know that she enjoys way too much. And sort of says, is that why we're here?
You had orders for us, I believe. I presumed you knew.
Well, I was under the impression that my sister had acquired some new knowledge. Charon? Mary?
Well, as Karen has said before, this is a potential forge world, well, that could be very advantageous to us.
Abandoned, you say?
Yes, correct. I kind of tap, like, Karen to, like...
Charon's just sort of sitting there, like, seems to be sort of staring off into a space for a moment and just sort of goes, oh, yes. It's a new energy reading. And one my senses couldn't quite recognize. It seems to be old. But it's worth investigating. It could be quite advantageous for all of us, I feel.
Yes, you hear that? And I gesture to my sister.
Augustine sort of nods and is like, well, I guess as long as it's in the name of the trader and the ship, then yes. Turns to the two of you and is like, do you think the two of you would be up for another mission?
Scouting, investigation, return with a report.
For now.
Of course.
Good. Get some rest. We'll be there soon.
Very well. We'll, go rest. So,
I am
Augustine sort of turns to you and is just like, do they rest?
I don't know.
I never know.
I don't think so.
That's a lot of polishing.
I think it takes like
oil
2
up
hours to take the
and, you know.
armor off or something.
All I smell is lapping powder.
Yeah, kind of gross.
Okay, yeah.
Do we actually rest as in like get spirit back?
Seeing as like you will rest, get spirit back.
Yeah.
You know, so the ship, you know, as you return to your quarters to rest, the ship groans as it, you know, sort of sets a new heading, eventually reaching this new planet. As you all regather in the bridge, below you see this sort of mottled ball of grey and brown below you. Charon sort of walks to the center console of the bridge and waves a hand, and this sort of like projection of the planet shows up. Most of you realize that on most planets you've seen, there will be of these readouts, there will be various blips all over the place. This planet is dark, pretty much save for one of this like small energy reading.
This is all the intel you have?
This is all the intel there is.
Perhaps something of value has been hidden and everything else on the planet taken away. A treasure buried to be claimed for the Emperor.
Ramos sort of like waves his hand, like sort of turns his hand in the air, and the ball starts to rotate. And he says, normally I would be able to investigate deeper with various senses, but something is holding me. I can't get closer with any of the equipment on the ship.
So there's potential danger down there then?
He nods. He's like, that is what they're for.
Oh, the space marine. I thought you were pointing to something else.
No.
Right, yes. Yes, I'm glad that you two are coming. I'm glad that Sinric will be there to help. You two, Gunnar.
Why does everyone speak of me like this?
Now, it's just one band.
I am useful.
Unknown that like everyone on the ship refers to you as one kill gunner.
It's ironic that my name is Gunnar and I'm the melee guy. Anyway.
No, you didn't plan that.
Well, even derelict, the Forge World is quite the treasure in itself. This will be well worth the expedition.
Will we have seen a Forge World before?
Probably, yeah. I would say like you've like not you've never. I wouldn't.
Yeah, probably in passing.
Depending on how long you've been in the Legion before you were taken by the Rogue Trader, you may not have seen like one in depth, but you've probably definitely been to one.
Yeah, cool.
Best prepare yourselves, gentlemen.
I am prepared.
We'll be in touch, Captain.
Good. As you step away, or as the others step away, Augustine like sort of trots down the stairs, grabs your arm. You watch as she sort of watches as the rest sort of wander off. And she leans over and says,
something wrong?
I can't put my finger on it, but Charon's not telling us everything.
Yeah, he kind of does that sometimes, though. He's very elusive. It's all in the spookiness of his demeanor, I guess.
Yes, I'm just saying, be careful. And if you find out what it is he might be hiding, report back to me immediately.
Will do.
Good. Well, why are you still here? Go.
Take care, sister.
You too.
I've wanted to chime in with a random
Go on.
person desperately this whole time. It's so hard to not just be a player.
Go
5
go
seconds.
on.
What?
Oh, is there something you want
No,
to say?
I just wanted to literally have a guy be like,
He wanted to say he wanted to
literally some voidsman who just like salutes and is like, "Milady, we'll have a landing squad for you. Ready?" Like that kind of jump. That's all I want.
Augustine turns around and is like, yes, I don't need an update to everything, Gideon. Thank you.
Man, no worries, I mean, mom.
My kingdom for a better crew.
Mumbles, we're the best you can afford, love. Under his breath. Couldn't help myself.
Cool. Making your way. Making your way back down to the hangar. Hakan is there, sort of once again armored, with his various gear.
Sorry, if you both press the button at the same time because you're
Yeah,
so in tune in the scene, it turns into a black void.
Right, you doing landscapes?
I have to learn to let go. I've DM'd non-stop for years, so I'm just innately doing it.
I couldn't tell if anyone in the table could notice. I gave up on the character portraits because he kept doing it, so I was like, nah, I'm done.
Dave.
Stop it. Dave,
As soon as I have a character, I'll be able to relax. I'm getting a taste of what you're when you're.
Dave, Jazza organized this.
You can push the buttons till we have your character, okay?
Jazza called us all here. This is an intervention. Okay? So you make your way back to the hangar. Hakan is sort of preparing the dropship, as he always does, sort of checking everything over like 3 times. As he turns and sees the 4 of you approaching, and sort of smiles, like his hands on his hips. He says, ragtag group, excellent.
Is it a guy from before, Hakan?
Hakan, yeah.
Salamander.
Yeah, cool.
Are you joining us, brother?
He never does.
He smiles, he goes, in spirit, I take care of ship.
You always miss out on the fun.
He was described as a tech marine, yeah.
No,
Or no.
he's salamander.
Just
He's
salamander.
essentially
salamander. I'll
yeah.
tinker with everything.
I picture him in like the sort of like half aggressor like Ravis armor, so like the flamer attached to one side, and just this giant hammer in the other.
Yeah, cool.
He just sort of nods. He's like, "Good, well, let's get going."
Just the standard equipment or anything specific for the energy reading that we're picking up?
He sort of turns, his like brow sort of furrowed for a moment. He goes, "Specific equipment would be tech priest, yeah?"
Yes.
Pretend my character doesn't ask stupid questions.
I don't think it was a
No. It's like it is a good point, but it's like it's just the fact that Hakan is just very much
Gunnar doesn't have much faith in little fragile humans with tinkery bits.
And sometimes it's better that the closest of the Emperor handle the intricacies.
Where's an iron priest when you need one? That's what we're missing is an iron priest.
He smiles and like, claps you on the shoulder. He's like, "One day you will learn strength and humanity, yeah?" Climbs into the ship and up into the cockpit.
I've yet to see it.
The ship shifts and pitches as it enters, shuddering as it enters the planet's atmosphere. Various sort of chains and motifs sort of shaking across the hull.
Making sound effects.
Oh right, cool.
He's just
That was
You were just rattling.
No, I'm doing like a. You said this. We don't have a sound effect for that.
Acapella Dave in the house.
As it approaches landing, it pitches sharply upwards and then clanks downwards.
Not that sharply.
That's why I was doing the sound.
And everybody dies. No.
there you go.
The front sort of what do you call it? Plank sort of lowers with a hiss. And you hear this clanking as Hakan comes down. He's like, "Good, another happy landing. Now, you go do whatever you need to do. We will take care of ship, yeah."
Oh, you're staying here? You're not... Because 3 shields are better than 2, so,
Yes,
know.
but one shield at the way off the planet is probably not bad.
I mean, that's a good point. But just to clarify, you're not joining us.
No.
Okay. Well, stay tight. Stay put.
He picks up like a like a tarantula turret and just starts wandering out the back, starting off the entry plank, and just sort of puts it down, starts setting it up.
Come on, milady. We'll keep you safe.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Have a good time.
Don't you, Gunnar? I'll keep you safe too. Come on.
Cut it out.
Don't let him kill anyone else. He's still working off last time.
All right.
I'm saving my ferocity for the right moment.
So you step from the boarding ramp into a derelict city of ash. There are sprawling factories and warehouses as far as the eye can see, these spiraling towers reaching towards this blackened, cloud-covered sky. All around you, there's these ancient remains of a struggle. There are armored these sort of like skeletons bearing sort of ragged uniforms and bits of Imperial Guard armor. Various, sort of what look like some sort of like robotic creature just sort of strewn across the ground, bearing various sort of weapon damage and, sort of killing wounds. The walls are peppered with the remains of, sort of blast of fire.
Thank you, Tiger Chat, for the super chat.
Thank you.
And Tiger Wolf for the super chat. Don't know whether Tiger Cat.
Who's
Tiger Cat.
listening to our stream while playing some Dark Tide, which is very appropriate.
Very, very appropriate.
I imagine we got like a Vox to report back to the ship, yeah. Like a radio, the Vox cast, yeah. I'll radio back to the captain and say,
Do the thing. Talk box.
hold on.
No, it's not that one. It's telephone. Test. There you go. It's got to. We got to do it.
I don't know if I have
you
one.
got it,
Do I have one of those?
Yours is far more complicated.
Okay, cool. I'm not going to do it then.
This is Marie Van. This is so funny.
Did she say that? Please tell me she's
These comms.
Murray, I've told you if we're going to use the official Vox, we need to maintain some level of decorum. Like,
Yes, Marie to the captain.
Is there something in the atmosphere?
yes, that's me. Go ahead.
We have landed safely.
Okay, excellent. Anything to report?
No, that's the one. I kind of like look around and kind of look at the both of you and then report back and say,
No, not really.
Excellent. Feel free to contact me when you do.
Will do.
Good.
great.
Looks like the Vox isn't working on a good job, Mary.
Well, you got to try these things. You never know. Is there like a scanner or something that we've got that tells us like the source of what we're
Or are we
looking that
following
power
the
surge?
priest?
Is Sharon with us?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Karen is with me.
Oh, okay.
He sort of like looks around and sort of scanning. He's, these sort of like, tentacled arms like twitching every so often and like very rhythmically. He turns, he goes, the energy reading is this way. So he starts to make his way towards one of these factory buildings. Is there anything anyone would like to do?
Other than probably,
Just follow.
proceed. You know what? I'd probably clear the way first, leading with the bolter, sort of like checking doors and leading people through.
Cool.
I stand close to Marie and Karon, just to, I'm basically the bodyguard beside them as you move ahead.
Cool. Can either or both of you make me a, what would it be?
Acuity.
Yes. Just to have a general look around. Anyone else that wants.
Acuity what?
I will say it's a,
Wisdom?
yeah, sure, acuity wisdom.
Alrighty. I got 4.
4, 5,
No, you critical success.
6.
6.
Nice.
See, I just need to roleplay it as a god, and I can roll good.
You roleplay Jason Statham, you become. You making your way towards this factory, sort of like keeping an eye out, well aware that, Karen has already stated that there's something odd here. that he can't quite place. Gunnar, you like looking around, you spot there's this brief flash of light, and just like a little sort of what do you call it? Just like a small dot suddenly in your vision. As you glance up, there's nothing there, but you sort of like glancing around for it. You, Cineric, like see the same thing, but as you look up, you're shall we say like better trained for ranged eyes see for this brief moment at this window, this sort of shattered window, there is this small insect. It seems to be running along the masonry, and it seems to every so often just zzz, zzz, with this low like spark with this low blue glow like a firefly. And then it just sort of crawls inside.
No hostile threats spotted yet. Very, very low forms of life, but very rare at that.
I believe we are near the power source.
Right.
Charon like taps a few numbers on a keypad, and the door sort of it just sort of like falls slightly open. He's like, I could use some assistance.
Yes, it appears you could. Let's step up and try to force open the door.
Which would be a power.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh,
Strength.
Yes,
strength check.
Well, you get to pick what your skill is.
Yeah. So it's a strength check. I've got to get used to that. So strength check, and you add what you want.
Yeah, power.
Roll them bones. Oop, that's a 5.
That's
That
4
is a five.
successes.
4 successes.
Nice.
With a a high whine to a screech, just you just like open up these
You
doors.
seem to be having trouble with that, brother.
I mean, you just succeeded.
That was the quickest roll.
And it was worse.
I got 5.
What?
I got 5.
Did you?
Yeah, I got 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you get?
Was it for 4
4?
5?
Yeah, that's was it 4? It was 4.
He got.
It's 3. I'm pretty sure it was 2.
I feel like you got 3. Can we get an instant replay on that? You definitely rolled like 3 black.
No, it was 5.
Okay.
It's just because of the sides of
Yeah, it must be
what's
hard, yeah.
facing you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you wrench these doors open to the point that you're able to like side on, sort of shuffle through forwards. Gunnar steps forward after he was just like, oh, pff, and just like pushes them for the rest of the way into the wall.
Marie's behind you and then
So
says,
that-
thank you.
So that he can walk through, like, just so he can walk through, like, straight on. Making your way inside, there is a small workshop. It's, again, covered. It's, first of all, like, just basically destroyed. Like, there is not a screen that isn't smashed. There is not, a console that isn't, like, missing most of its keys and cracked. Just in front of the doorway, you see a large form that looks similar, if in its time possibly slightly more grand than Charon, but a similar sort of like red robes, sort of mechanical arms out from the robes, mechanical face, and it is just like anything that was in the torso area was gone.
Oh,
It's just
Karen, don't look. This is awful.
Charon sort of steps forward, and like you see a few of these sort of like tentacled arms sort of tap across the form, and he's like, "What did this?"
So I'll walk up past, sweeping the room, just making sure it's proper and clear.
You see at the far end there is this large circular chamber, shattered glass panels looking through to what appears to be sort of a holding area or some sort of like testing bay. All around there are these, various sort of robotic forms, some still having like skeletons attached to them, scattered across the floor. Forest to your left, as you step up to that end of the chamber, you see a sight that it's a very odd sight for you to have behold in this sort of area. But there is this glowing blue orb, like energy field, surrounding a small portion at the center of it, or just like, you know, within it. You see what appears to be a Astartes marine. This plasma pistol pointed, you know, staff in hand, like a sort of Heka staff in hand. This very sort of disgusted, aggravated face expression as it's sort of pointing at something like that seems to be directly ahead.
Interesting.
Would you like to describe your
I'd like
character?
to describe my character. So you are both confronted with a sight of power armor. You'd probably both recognize to be quite austere relic armor that you'd see company veterans, maybe Stern Guard, wearing. As Space Marines, you would recognize it as a suit of ornate Mark III power armor, and it is resplendent in a beautiful ruby finish, like sparkling finish with gold filigree inlaid in it in patterns. You see gemstones tastefully decorated and a cloth tabard hanging at the waist. The features of the marine are actually concealed behind an ornate and plumed helmet that has a sort of horizontal plume currently on that reminds you actually of an ultramarine, the plume. It's quite centurion-esque. And the symbol that you can see on the armor is that of a sun, a circular sun, and not one that any of you are familiar with, I would assume.
It's an Astartes of a chapter I'm not familiar with.
No, neither. I do not recognize any of these sigils.
He seems to be in stasis.
Yes.
A voice from behind you, like Charon's voice, just says,
Yes, this appears to be the energy reading that we are here for.
Well,
This is the energy reading.
no relic, unfortunately, but
you see Charon's like walking around and is eyeing this armor with this sort of like extreme interest. She's like,
Well, that entirely depends on whether the inhabitant still breathes.
Well, can you get him out?
I can.
Yes.
Perhaps no one should be standing in front of the aforementioned firearm before I do so.
Yes, we will have to release the field to take a better look. And what happens. Release the field, Tech Marine.
be at the ready.
wanders over to a console at the edge, like very carefully making sure that he doesn't like step into the field as he sort of taps at a few keys.
Yeah, I prep the bolter, keeping it very steady on the Astartes in the field.
Taps a few keys and then sort of looks up at the field and taps one last one as the field drops.
And in a blur of an instant, there is a whoosh as a plasma bolt just blasts out of the stasis field and like melts a hole in the opposite wall.
Oh,
and the
God.
second half of a sentence is just betray me, and then as feet sort of land again and shaking and a head looks around, immediately reappraise. Should I do like a check, like an acuity check or something?
Yeah, you give me acuity and I'd say this is...
Surely understanding for this.
Yeah.
one.
Well,
Okay.
actually, this would be understanding, and so you're trying to take in your surroundings very suddenly.
Understanding
reflexes.
reflexes. Oh, cool.
What's my challenge level?
Do I need to say that? Because I like to keep that
No, you don't have
myself.
to say that. It could be scale.
something like
Could
this,
scale.
yeah, you can
give him
scale.
something based on what he gets.
Okay.
That's generally how I work. Is that whole like I.
But remember, we're really good. So what's hard?
Nice doubling.
Because I just want you to know that this is an absurd amount of dice.
Oh yeah, cool. So
But it's not an absurd amount of successes.
No.
2 successes on 9 dice. That was my best roll. 9 dice.
that does make a lot of sense though.
Yes,
So
it
you suddenly release, because I imagine in a stasis field there has to be a point that essentially, or like almost to me, like you switch off, like you're not seeing everything that's happening outside.
I imagine that was just like 1 second to the next. Like
Yeah.
he's just like, what the hell's just happened?
So you are suddenly pulled with this sort of like dizzying speed, like a blink, from this thriving, sort of fully inhabited Imperial Forge world. Suddenly, in a blink of an eye, you step out into this derelict, destroyed, forge world of this that almost is unrecognizable from your original surroundings. As you take a moment to sort of gather yourself and like take in everything, you look around and you see these two what you would recognize as Astartes. They're wearing some very strange armor. What appears to be a human woman, and as you spin around at the sound, there's another tech priest behind you that sort of is just watching you with a very almost unnerving intensity.
What was the change of environment that he perceived?
So it would literally been like he's ready to fire at this sort of tech priest in front of him. Suddenly everything sort of freezes over, and then suddenly he's being woken up in this.
Like, how different would the environment be to what it was for him?
It's like as you sort of take it in. I see what you mean. As you take it in, it is the same. It appears to be, from what you remember, the same environment, but it is destroyed. Like it is just wrought.
Upon him firing, I'm immediately going to take action, and I'll just cry, "Stand down! Stand down!"
Okay.
Can I very quickly make a intuition check to just snap that time, like some time has passed. I've been in a stasis field. Not any context, just like to realize that.
That would be, so I would say intuition and intelligence, because you're trying to grasp that.
And as I do, I mutter under my voice, Amon, Saithega, Memphia, Hastor, Infodem Fanek, Thought Mesatep, Luxantep.
Did anyone catch that?
Ooh, good roll.
And
4, 5,
gets
6.
and with criticals, thanks
yeah.
to my special
One
ability,
critical,
the enumerations. I didn't get anything else on it, but I did get 6 successes.
Yay.
6 successes. Having, obviously not only all the knowledge of the Astartes, but also the understanding of the Astartes, but also the further understanding of your legion. You turning around and looking at and putting together all the pieces, moving through the enumerations, you realize that you've been put in. This has been trapped in a stasis field, and you gather you've probably been left there for a lot longer than you were meant to be.
Brother, declare your loyalty. Whom do you serve?
What a preposterous question, Astartes. The Emperor, beloved by all.
I look across at Cineric, nod, like, it checks out. He said the right thing.
I more like the idea that you've looked over and like, is that right?
That's right,
That's what we do.
I may be a little rusty on my Space Marine chapters, but where exactly do you come from? What is your name?
He looks unsettled, but looks around. Comforted, though. Eyes trained on the tech priest, and like the plasma gun isn't lowered. It's still up, and maybe even like slightly pointed towards the tech priest. Not aiming at him, but like ready to. Looks at the rest. And then, in a moment of like realizing the situation, and there's an inherent trust in seeing other battle brothers,
He reaches his hand to his helmet, and there's the hiss of the mag seals of his helmet. He pulls up this Mark III plate and reveals a rather surprisingly proportioned and statuesque Astartes with dark skin, curly hair swept back, and a gentle beard. But Astartes usually look brutish and weird. He looks like a statue. It's peculiar how perfect his proportions are. He pulls this helmet off and says, I am Ramos Bashir. My chapter is a fellowship led by Hathor Mart. I am Pavoni.
Did any of you understand any of that? Because I
None of
didn't.
it. What happened here? Why were you frozen?
The place we stand, my expedition fleet, we arrived the 927th. What fleet are you with?
What fleet were you with?
I mean, we're not exactly with the fleet.
I was not talking to a mortal.
I'll have you know that I'm second in command.
Silence! We're speaking.
This is Marie Van Haas, and second in command of the rogue trader ship that we are aboard.
A rogue trader militant. Very good. Yes, one of the Emperor's dogs kicked from Terra. Wonderful.
Excuse me, sir. I could have you executed.
Brother, she nips. And you, grey and red. Vilka Fenrica. Not who I thought would effect my rescue today.
I am...
You would know that term. Your own term for Space Wolves.
I am no wolf, brother.
But your armor.
I am of the bears.
You speak in riddles, friends.
You seem to speak in some yourself. I believe more enlightened conversations might be had aboard the ship. This abomination of a planet will serve us no more. But you will be welcomed.
My squad, my company, they were deeper.
You, at this point, Charon, you hear Charon says,
This might be a good time, but
as you turn around, you see these various sort of lights and various lights and screens flicker on.
That looks bad.
yes, it seems that the power holding the stasis field may also be now transferred to other areas, and we don't know what those are.
At this point, you see these chamber doors, like these small capsules on the sides of the walls, hiss, releasing steam and smoke as they slide open, as they split at the middle. These robotic hands just.
Marie.
At this point, I'm going to lower my bolter from Ramos's face. So,
I do not recognize any of those names, and that is enough for me.
I throw out as I see this activity that I've witnessed before, Ramos throws his helmet back on and he says, "We speak around each other, brothers. Know this. Silica Animus. A crime against the Imperial truth. They're dangerous." And he turns his gun towards the things coming through.
Yes, purge the alien.
So the rest of you see these sort of robotic forms, sort of somewhat rusted but mostly preserved, sort of these silver robots as they pull themselves outwards, jaws snapping as they lurch forward and start to charge for you.
What do you think, Gunner? Potential quality?
I have some ground to make up.
I think that's a good place to leave it till next time. Next episode, we can open up with another sexy bit of combat. That
Very good.
was very fun. Round of applause, Dragon. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Oh, that felt good. That felt good to just to hit hard quick and
Glad it felt good for you
Immediately.
because it was terrifying for me.
Aw, you did great.
Brilliant
Thank
job.
you.
That
Thank
was
you so
very,
much.
very fun. I'm excited and a great place to pick up for next time.
Next week.
Wait for my voice to be completely different.
Like, really, yeah, just ready for me to change everyone's
Yeah,
accent
yeah.
for next time.
Vamos.
Thank you all so much for watching. And thank you to our patrons who we look forward to having an after party with.
And a huge thank you to our sponsor.
Thank you,
Fire and Ash.
Go
Thank
check
you,
out
Fire
the
and Ash.
Kickstarter while you can.
Fire and Dash.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.